Ah, shit. Hey everybody, this week's recipe is teriyaki chicken. Full disclosure, I have made teriyaki chicken before. I've always purchased the teriyaki. I've never made it myself, and a few years ago the family sort of went on a teriyaki strike, I guess, according to them. I was making it a lot, which I have no idea what they're talking about, of course. But I've been craving it lately, so I thought, okay, well, let's do some searching here and come up with a teriyaki marinade. And so the great thing about this is that you can use it for chicken, you can use it for fish, tofu. If you wanted to not have any protein, just like a vegetable stir fry kind of a thing, you can do that as well. I went a step further because I made this particular dish for a Sunday dinner. I actually had a lot of time on my hands, so I marinated the chicken thighs. The recipe does not call for that, but I just chose to do that and let it sit in the marinade and then made additional for cooking. So let's get into chicken teriyaki or teriyaki chicken. Okay, let's talk ease of ingredients. I mean, honestly, if I had known that making a teriyaki marinade / glaze would be so easy, I certainly would not have been purchasing it all of these years. So you're gonna see in the picture that I actually used a sugar replacement called Swerve. I typically use Monkfruit, but I didn't have any, and so Swerve was in the pantry, and it's a great alternative. This recipe called for granulated sugar, and I used that. Some called for brown sugar, but you're gonna see down below that I wrote out the recipe as I made it, and then there's a link to the actual recipe on allrecipes.com. You can see again in the photo that I used a combination of the liquid aminos and the Tamari. I was really low on liquid aminos, and so I just kind of married them together. But you can use coconut aminos, liquid aminos, soy sauce, Tamari, whatever suits your taste. So 5 out of 5 on the list of ingredients. It was really way easier than I anticipated it to be, and I will never ever buy teriyaki marinade again. I mean, it was really good. So okay, ease of prep. Ease of prep is a 4 out of 5 simply because of the added step of cooking the marinade. You can see in the photo in the pot sort of how viscous and thick it is. It's almost like the consistency of molasses. And then in this photo with the beautiful deep caramel color on the spoon, like this is what you're aiming for. And so it really is a very quick dump all of the ingredients in a saucepan, hit the heat, whisk it, keep an eye on it, and as soon as it gets thick, take it off the heat. I added an extra step in the prep because it was a Sunday dinner and I had all day. So I actually marinated my chicken thighs in the glazed marinade, however you want to call it, and refrigerated the whole day. The original recipe does not call for that step. It's just basically glazing it while it's cooking. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to babysit my chicken. So that was my added step in prep. Other than that, it's a super straightforward recipe. You'll see in the link, it calls for cooking the chicken for an hour, which is insane. So you'll see in my notes how I cooked it. So tips and tricks on this bad boy. The recipe calls for ginger root. If you don't have ginger root, then use, ginger powder. I personally have ginger root in the house all the time. It's great for immunity, digestion. I cook with it, I juice with it. I make tea out of it. And so there is a workaround for that. The garlic, if you don't have fresh garlic, then garlic powder. The Aminos, you know, it's either regular soy sauce, Tamari, coconut Aminos, or the Bragg's liquid Aminos work. If you don't want to do the sugar, you can do a sugar substitute like I did with the Swerve. Another tip and trick is make sure you line whatever pan it is that you're cooking the chicken. Trust me, when that marinade and that glaze bakes down onto the pan, it's going to be really unfriendly to get off. I used parchment paper. And I cooked the chicken thighs for about 30 minutes in a rimmed cookie sheet, and I served it with brown rice. I made it in an Instapot and then string beans, and it was really, really fast. I think it, you know, if I hadn't marinated it, I definitely could have whipped this up in 30, 40 minutes without a lot of brain power. It was really delicious. The kids really liked it. I personally cut the sugar in half. And you'll see in my notes exact exact measurements of what I used, and then in the actual link to the recipe, you'll see what they kind of recommended. Again, this is really good. It was yummy. You can use the marinade on fish, tofu. One of the recipes says you can use it on red meat. Not so sure, but why not? Try it. Or if you wanted to do sort of a stir fry, that would be great too. So I really hope you guys enjoyed teriyaki chicken, and I will see you guys next week. Ah, shit.